My friend, today is one of those days that will go down in history. The Eagles have just confirmed the arrival of a name that could mark a new era for the franchise. Vic Fangio didn't like a crystal ball or a set of advanced analytics to see what was right in front of him. The Eagles' preseason debut was supposed to be a chance to test their new defensive strengths, get a feel for the talent of their young players, and start building a chemistry before week 1. Instead, it became a stress test, and the results were anything but challenging. Under the spotlight, against the surgical precision of Joe Burrow and the relentless routes of Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, one side of the Eagles' secondary held its own. Rookie Quinyon Mitchell, the rising star everyone was talking about, brought veteran experience, showing poise, speed, and the kind of confidence you want in your future quarterback. But on the other side, the scene was much less exciting. Quarterbacks at this level, it doesn't take much. One slow step, a mistimed jump, a split-second hesitation, and that's 6 points. That's exactly what Fangio saw. Inconsistencies, coverage breakdowns, and moments where the CB2's spot looked like a neon sign screaming, "Play here." With the Dallas Cowboys and CeeDee Lamb's route clinic underway in a few weeks, the Eagles can't afford to wait for the problem to resolve itself. And that's why the name Asante Samuel Jr. continues to echo through front office corridors and fan forums. At just 25, Samuel isn't a veteran looking for a final paycheck. He's a creative player, a difference maker, and his resume says it all. 6 interceptions, 37 passes defended, 176 total tackles in just 4 seasons. His instincts are elite, his footwork is refined, and his ability to coax quarterbacks into making poor decisions is rare. The problem? He's recovering from off-season neck surgery. But if the current doctors give him the green light for week 1, this is the kind of player who doesn't just fill a void. He changes the geometry of the defense. Howie Roseman knows what's at stake. If he waits too long, another competitor, perhaps a playoff contender, could step up and take Samuel. If he acts too soon, he'll be gambling on a player whose health is still uncertain. It's a high-stakes poker game, and the clock is ticking faster every day. Inside the NovaCare complex, the coaching staff is weighing their options. They could keep Cooper DeJean on the perimeter opposite Mitchell, banking on his potential. They could hope for Keely Ringo to take the next step, or for Adoree Jackson to find her Pro Bowl form. But those are ifs, and ifs can turn into too late very quickly in the NFL. What makes this decision even more urgent is the NFC East landscape. The Cowboys aren't standing still. The Giants may not be contenders yet, but they're not. They have nothing to lose and have plenty of speed at receiver. And Washington? Say what you will, but a motivated Terry McLaurin is always a threat. Fangio knows that a blown coverage against either of them could change the division race. Samuel wouldn't just fill a hole. He could free Fangio to be creative with his blitz packages, trusting his cornerbacks to block receivers in man coverage. He could allow the safeties to play more aggressively, knowing there's a player ready to turn a risky throw into a turnover. The fan base is divided. One half is being told Roseman should decide now. Don't wait, don't risk it, go after him. The other half wants to see if the younger cornerbacks step up. But while the debate rages, something unexpected is brewing in the trenches. And if it continues, it could completely change how the Eagles approach this cornerback puzzle. If you're wondering why Fangio might have more flexibility with his secondary, it's because second-year defensive lineman Moro Ojomo is making waves, literally, in the trenches. Since the start of training camp, Ojomo has been tearing up the forward lines and living in the backfield. His preseason debut against the Bengals was another step in a successful summer, showing why the coaches believe he's more than just a rotational piece. Defensive line coach Clint Hurt was full of praise for Ojomo's unique abilities. He's a player who can contribute on every play. We don't see him as a situational guy. He's becoming an on-field coach. That football IQ is compounded by his production. 31 pressures in just 268 pass rush snaps last year. And with Milton Williams now in New England, there's a real path for Ojomo to assume a significant role in 2025. This sudden rise means the Eagles may be able to blitz less, put more defenders in coverage, and take calculated risks at cornerback, potentially buying them more time to evaluate an offer for Samuel Jr. Sunday night's open practice at Lincoln Financial Field was supposed supposed to be electrifying, a summer spectacle for fans, a chance to see the reigning Super Bowl champions up close, a stadium throbbing with music, cheering, and that unmistakable smell of football in the air. But one play was all it took to turn that energy into deathly silence. It happened quickly. Landon Dickerson, the Pro Bowl guard who has been a rock on the Eagles' offensive line, went down clutching his right leg after what appeared to be a routine rep. At first, some thought it was just a cramp, the kind you walk away from. But then came the scene no fan wants to see. Dickerson fell, grimacing, shaking his head. Trainers rushed to him. Teammates knelt. The noise in the stadium faded to a nervous murmur. Moments later, the cart rolled onto the field. Dickerson, unable to put weight on his leg, was helped onto it and extended to it. As he was led away, the fans stood and applauded, not because of the interruption, but because they knew this was serious. The kind of moment that can change an entire season. Adam Schefter didn't hide the truth. He announced that Dickerson would undergo an MRI to determine the extent of the injury. And for Philadelphia, a city that knows all too well the pain of heartbreak, it seemed like holding his breath had become the only option. The concern isn't just for one game or even a few weeks. This is a player with a history of knee problems dating back to his college days at Florida and Alabama. For all his resilience, this is a battle that isn't about grit. It's about the body's ability to withstand the relentless pressure of the NFL. That's what makes it all so harrowing. The offensive line isn't just another unit in Philadelphia. It's the heart of the season. It's the group that paved the way for Jalen Hurts' success, that paved the way for the running game, that set the tone in the trenches week after week. And now, with Jason Kelce retired and other interior positions already in transition, losing Dickerson for an extended period would be like removing the foundation of a championship house. Dan Orlovsky didn't mince words on ESPN. This could completely impact their chances of repeating as Super Bowl champions. And he's right. It's not just about losing a talented point guard. It's about losing leadership, stability, and the kind of grit that doesn't show up in the stats. Last postseason, Dickerson was practically playing on one leg and still holding his own against the league's top defensive lineman. That's the kind of warrior he is. But even warriors have limits. In the locker room, players spoke quietly about the situation. Some avoided reporters altogether. Others simply said they were praying for good news because they know this is more than a depth chart adjustment. It's a potential shift in the entire identity of the team. For now, Nick Sirianni is the one who has to steady the ship. Their job isn't just to prepare for the next preseason game. It's to keep the locker room calm, focused, and ready for any outcome. And while time waits for answers, other competitions within the roster suddenly take on new importance. Because in football, depth is survival. And speaking of depth, one of the most intriguing and tense battles in training camp has nothing to do with a Pro Bowler, but with two quarterbacks fighting for the last starting spot. The Eagles' preseason win over the Bengals featured plenty of offensive fireworks, but for sixth-round rookie quarterback Kyle McCord, it was a night to forget. 5 completions, 8 yards, and 1 interception aren't the kind of stats that guarantee a roster spot. Meanwhile, Dorian Thompson-Robinson looked more polished, completing 5 of 8 attempts for 56 catches, maintaining his lead in the QB3 race. But Sirianni isn't giving up on his rookie. In Sunday's press conference, he emphasized McCord's strong practice habits and quick decision-making. He knows where to go with the ball and his throws accurately. We just need to keep putting him in situations so he can learn and grow. With 2 preseason games remaining, including the finale against the Jets, where the starters are resting, McCord will have his chance at redemption. The third quarterback decision may seem insignificant compared to injuries and free agent signings, but in a long NFL season, depth matters, especially when the unexpected happens. For the Eagles, every position battle, every injury update, and every hiring decision from now until week 1 is part of the same larger goal, the pursuit of another Lombardi trophy. And in Philadelphia, the belief is simple. No moment is too small when building a champion.